something bad happened during the expedition. I, no doubt, am partly to blame. Nevertheless, I would like you to know my version of the events. After hard days of hiking, we set up our base camp on the threshold of a high valley where rhododendrons grew. All the witnesses seemed to concur. This was where the Gorun, the famous man of the mountains, was most frequently sighted. For many long weeks, we explored without success every valley and mountain surrounding the camp. Autumn was approaching, the rivers started to freeze at the edges, and the prospect of having to head back with nothing for our toil was becoming more and more apparent. The joyful banter of the first weeks was no more. The men were becoming moody and tense. Especially our chief, Reinhard Berger. Up we get, Leon. Another day on a wild goose chase. I'd better get kitted up before going out. Horst has already left. The scolding that Berger gave them yesterday about their lack of results in tracking down the Goruns really got to him. All those books. Only Horst could cot about works of anthropology beyond the frontiers of the known world. The march of science knows no bounds for him. These biscuits don't compare with old Gustav's cooking, but at least they fill you up. Must remember to fill it up before I leave the camp. I ought to bring all the equipment together before I take my bag. No chance of me venturing into the mountain without that. I'm so glad Junta lent it to me. I was able to take wonderful pictures behind Berger's back. Hope I can get back to sketching the valley, but with Berger putting on the pressure at the moment, I doubt it. The letters I got from Dana before leaving Kantar with the expedition. It's tough not to be able to receive or give any news since leaving civilization. Better get going before...
Do you know what time it is?
Time to be heading out?
Enough! You couldn't care less whether we find the Gorons or not, could you? Well, mark my words, Combatis. You'd better change your bloody attitude.
You know full well Huss and the Brown Shadow forced me into this. And besides, my mission was to guide you and the rest of the expedition here, not to get involved in your harebrained research.
I couldn't give a damn. Everyone has already started except you. So you just get your butt upstream and help Sauer carry out his research. The idiot is capable of getting himself lost again.
All right. I'm not your enemy, you know.
I don't think you understand the gravity of the situation, Leon. If we don't find a specimen of the Goron, the Brown Shadow will... Look, just go find Sauer. Please. Now!
Poor animal. Berger's gone out of his mind with this search for the abominable snowman of his. No one here. Jaeger and Bauer have been a bit heavy-handed with the alcohol these past few evenings. Morale of the troops is at an all-time low. Jaeger and Bauer have been a bit heavy-handed with the alcohol these past few evenings. Morale of the troops is at an all-time low. With this, I'll be able to venture out for as long as it takes to find Sauer. Not what you'd call cute, this Gorun. Just as well they haven't found it yet.
I hope you're not thinking of going inside my tent, Combatis.
Better get going. Autumn is here. We'd better leave the mountain soon, or we won't survive. Anyone there? Looks like someone's left their gear over there. Better check it out. Whoever it belongs to must have left in a hurry to have left it behind. Stopping to read in the middle of the wilds. That's sour all over. One of us must have stayed here. For a rest, maybe? One of the scientists must have stopped for a rest here. Most probably sour. But what made him leave in such a hurry that he left behind? What on earth is that? That mark must be what caused Sour to stop and rest for a while. I'd better head out and try to find him to clarify the situation. What in God's name is that? Sour? What in the world?
Shh! Look what I found.
Is that a
go room! Yes, it's a go room! I heard him cry as I was taking a break near the path. Hurry, we must go fetch the others.
You go. He looks injured. I'd better stay and try and reach him before the current carries him away.
Right, Leon. Okay. But don't lose him.
All right, little fella. Don't move. I'm coming to get you. Current's too strong to swim across. Better find another way. The trunk isn't very thick. Easy, Leon. Now's not the time to get a dunking. Take it easy. I'm not going to hurt you. I just want to look at your wound. What can I give him to show I mean no ill? There you go. It's good, isn't it? Leg broken. I just want to look at it, all right? Look, little fella, if you let me see your wound, you can have another biscuit later, yes? It's broken, all right. Must be very painful. You're a brave boy. If I could clean the wound and brace your leg, we should be able to get you back to camp and make it better. Hold on. I'll be right back. Just be patient, little fella. I'll be right back. They're straight enough to help get the Gorun back to camp. That mark, judging by the shape, must have been made by the Gorun, probably before he got injured. I wonder what it means. The Gorun might become anxious if I leave now. There must be something around here I can use to take care of him. I need to find something to make a splint for the Gorun. Better be quick. They should do fine to hold the Gorun splint together. Here we go, fella. This is going to sting a little. There, wasn't so bad, was it? Now we just need to find a way to get you back across. Hey, did you do that, little fella? Well, better drawing than talking, huh? Now we just have to wait for the others. Huh? Oh, you want another biscuit? You learn quick. It was a young specimen, my darling Dana. Almost like a child. And as soon as we made eye contact, I knew this was a creature endowed with reason. When my companions joined me, I immediately sensed we did not share the same point of view. They seemed blinded by the discovery. They couldn't see the individual. It was clear the young Goran wasn't a person in their eyes, just a subject for study. In their excitement, they seemed to lose all common sense.
What is wrong with it? Fruit! Have some fruit!
You shut him up in a cage! What do you expect? He's frightened!
Shut it up, or I'm going to gag it. What's that?
Must be the Goran's mother. If we give it back, she'll probably leave.
And deprive us of an adult specimen? Are you mad? All right, Mama.
Look at the size of her burger. Wound her, and we'll never get her back alive.
Who said we need her alive? They can't all be live specimens, can they?
No! Sorry about that, burger, but I couldn't let you shoot them. Reinhardt, you all right?
But he's killed Berger.
Bauer, wait. You saw. It was an accident. He was going to kill the Goran, sir. I had no intention to...
Shut it, assassin!
Ah, my head. head. Looks like they're busy. Probably discussing what to do with me. If I can just loosen these ties, I'll be able to slip away without them noticing. That stone looks sharp enough. If I can reach it, maybe I can cut myself free.
I'll bring him some soup. We can't let him starve to death.
Bastard doesn't deserve food.
Typical horse, eh? Always the good Samaritan.
Aren't you afraid I was going to run for it?
They intend to hand you over to the authorities in Kantar for the murder of Reinhard Berger.
Convenient for them.
Well, that's not how it's going to be. I don't agree with what you did. But you don't deserve what Bauer and Jaeger intend for you. You must pretend to be tied up. Wait for them to fall asleep. Then take your gear and get as far away from here as possible. Hear me?
Yes, but what? So there you have the full story, my darling Dana. I don't know what will become of me, where my escape will lead me over the coming weeks, or what my life of a murderer on the run will be like. Always remember that my love for you is as strong as ever, and that my greatest desire is to hold you in my arms. I love you more than anything in the world. Leon, your Alpine lover.
Dana! Oh my goodness! Dana! What's wrong, Poppet? Lena, come, quick!
Dear Diary, so much has happened since I received Leon's letter a few days ago. I'm slowly recovering. Today, Papa and Mama told me that I was going to leave for a while. I'll explain what's going on, but I don't know where to begin. I need to gather my thoughts as I finish packing my suitcase. As I said, dear Diary, I'm leaving tomorrow. Papa and Mama are sending me to a sanatorium out of town for a few months. They say it's for continuing my convalescence. In other words, to send me and my secret away from prying eyes. My parents have accepted the offer from their longtime friends, the Zimmers, to pay for my hospitalization at the sanatorium. The Zimmers said it was in the name of their long friendship with Papa and Mama. But I think they feel bad that they can afford to flee Wagen in the Brown Shadow, whereas Mama and Papa can't. The ideal summer and winter resort in the most picturesque and enchanting spot looking over the River Dombra. Well, let's hope that's true. Come on, Dana. There were enough tears already. I hope you are well, Leon, wherever you are now. Poor Papa and Mama. They were devastated when the doctor they called after I collapsed discovered my secret. That secret I dared not speak about to anyone. Not even you, dear diary. Now I can tell you. I'm pregnant, dear diary. Leon is the father. There were a lot of tears and screams when the doctor told Papa and Mama. But they finally decided to pretend that the baby will be the foster child of a missing relative. I know everyone expects me to feel guilty, but I can't help thinking of names. If it's a boy, of course it'll be Leon, to bring his father good luck. And if it's a girl, I think I'll call her Anna. Mama says Leon is nothing but an unscrupulous adventurer who took advantage of an innocent girl. But I know it's not true. Papa looks 10 years older since he learned of my pregnancy. But what seems to have affected him the most was to ask Herr Zimmer for help. I'll put you away in there as soon as I'm done, dear diary. Better to keep you safe than risking to lose you where I'm going. Well, that should be it. All I need to do now is to conclude my diary entry and hide it somewhere safe with Leon's letter. Now you know everything, dear diary. It is now, I guess, the time to say goodbye for a while. All I can hope now is that Leon will survive winter in those faraway mountains, and that he will find a way to come home and clear his name. We will wait until then, me and the baby.
Me and the baby?
Do you still think there might be a family connection between you, Kate Walker?
Well, all I know is that my family on my mother's side came from Europe. Well, like a lot of New Yorkers, right? I don't know from where exactly, but... And then there's the music box my mother left me, which it turns out plays the Vaughan anthem. I mean, it all seems so magical. Almost like destinies at play.
Or a coincidence, Kate Walker. The law of coincidences states that the more an individual is liable to believe in coincidences, the more coincidences happen to them.
But then there's the fact, Oscar, that everyone keeps telling me Dana and I look so much alike.
What do you plan on doing now, Kate Walker?
According to the diary, Dana left for a sanatorium outside of town. The records might tell what became of her and her baby. But before we go, there's something that's been bothering me.
What is it, Kate Walker?
The pogrom that Frau Heigl told us about, the one during which the house and the neighborhood were ransacked, happened in 1938, if I recall correctly. Dana said that she was leaving for the sanatorium for a few months at the end of 1937.
Indeed, Kate Walker. So it is very likely she was safe and sound over there when the pogrom occurred.
Yes, but what if she was home with her baby? I need to be sure before we leave for the sanitarium, Oscar. We need to search the neighborhood for more evidence.
All right, Kate Walker. Where you lead, I will follow. As long as you don't forget your bag.
Trust me, Oscar. You're the only friend I've got right now. I ain't losing you. Threats, riddled with misspellings and signed, Frank Hoss, that member of the Brown Shadow who had it in for Leon at the refuge. Looks like he never forgave them and was after Dana during the pogrom.
Indeed, Kate Walker. But the very existence of this message could mean she wasn't home when those tragic events occurred.
Come on, Oscar, we need to find more clues. So, according to that letter, Dana was supposed to stay at the sanatorium until December 1938. Looks like there were medical complications. That's a good clue, I guess, but I need to find more. Dana's initials.
We were on the other side of this wall earlier, Kate Walker.
It's like we've gone through a looking glass.
I do not understand, Kate Walker.
Forget it. I don't know what I'm saying.
If you say so, Kate Walker.
Keller, Meyer, Ortel. I'm getting close. Ackerman, Fisher, Jorge. I can't find Dana here. Vogt, Weiss. Dana isn't mentioned here. Some of the names are covered up with dirt. How can I clean it?
It won't work.
Anton and Lena Rose. Dana's parents. Oh God, they were killed during the pogrom.
Is Dana Rose also mentioned?
It doesn't look like it, no. But I need to be sure. I think that's it, Oscar. We know that the pogrom occurred at the beginning of November 1938. Dana's parents, Anton and Lena, were killed, that's certain. But Dana was supposed to be at the sanatorium back then.
Which seems to be confirmed by that message Herr Hoss left in the house, Kate Walker.
Exactly. So I guess we're done here, Oscar. Let's take the tram back to the guest house. We'll try to find that sanitarium first thing tomorrow.
So, there she is. The famous Kate Walker.
Sorry, what?
Dana Rose. I knew her very well, you know. Our Dana darling. Waiting for the tram, aren't you? Well, we'd be better off speaking at the guest house. I hear there's a storm coming. Pleased to make your acquaintance, Miss Walker. Colonel Blake.
Colonel Blake or Fraulein Junta?
Connecting the dots, are we? You're a very clever young woman. But you must be eager to know why I'm here in front of you, bearing the surname of one of Her Majesty's military officers. But here's our tram. Would you be so kind? So, Miss Walker, you've been rather quiet. I would have thought you'd have some questions for me. No?
Why did you change your name?
I didn't. I just took it back. You see, I was born and raised in London. My parents were diplomats from Austria. Janet Blake was always my real name.
And how did you become a British military officer? It doesn't sound like the usual career path for a famous artist.
Very true indeed, Miss Walker. But I actually have been both during my lifetime. The British Secret Service hired me as soon as they heard I was going to work close to the Brown Shadow in Ostertal. Back in the 30s, that was, just before I met Dana at the refuge.
So you were some kind of double agent?
You make it sound more romantic than it really was, miss. But yes, I guess one could say so.
You mentioned the guest house. Are you staying there too?
Indeed, Miss Walker. It's actually Frau Wagner who told me about you. When she told me that you were looking for Dana, I knew I had to talk to you. Frau Wagner told me to call the academy, which I did, and the rector then redirected me towards the Bridge of Mists. And that's how I ended up wandering up and down it, asking about a mysterious American woman with a painting.
I guess you have new information about Dana for me?
I might very well indeed, Miss Walker, but what if you told me first what that little investigation of yours has dug up about Dana?
I discovered today that Dana became pregnant that summer of 37. Leon was the father. So her parents decided to hide her in a sanatorium outside town. Which, I assume, saved her from the night of the Brown Shadow pogroms in Wagen.
You assume right, but her parents, on the other hand...
Yes, I heard they didn't make it.
Poor bastards, if you'll pardon my French.
I know Dana was very concerned about Leon being on the run after the death of that scientist, Herr Berger. I can't blame her. How could he survive through the winter, all alone in the mountains in a strange country?
How could he? That's exactly the right question, Miss Walker. That origin expedition in Baltayar. What a mess that was.
So, that's basically all I know. Can you tell me what happened to Dana after she left for the sanatorium to have her baby?
I must confess, Miss Walker, that I was afraid you might overlook some of the painful information here, which is clearly the case.
What do you mean?
Look, I think it would be best if we stay in this carriage until the very end. I know it is an odd request to make, but you really must see this for yourself.
Well,
Until then, I recommend you look outside the window. I guarantee it will be worth your while. I'm sorry, Miss Walker, but chasing you around that bridge was more exhausting than I thought.
That's okay. I can wait.
Ah, nonsense. I know how eager you are to find out about Dana. So you go first. I'll meet you at section 08. I'll come meet you there.
Can't you just tell me what we're doing here?
I know it must seem cruel, speaking in riddles and keeping up all this mystery like a bloody fortune teller, but I promise you must see for yourself.
Okay then.
And don't forget, miss, section 08. Find it, and I'll meet you there.
Oof. Cold as hell here. How the heck do I get myself into these situations? These ruins, they look like they're from the Middle Ages or something. There's something sinister about all this.
Have no fear, Kate Walker. The sun's setting, and you're all alone in an isolated and derelict place. Statistically speaking, it is highly improbable that you'll meet anybody, good or bad.
Thank you, Oscar, but please do me a favor. Stop trying to reassure me, would you?
As you wish, Kate Walker.
Grim. This place gives me the creeps. Looks like... Oh, jeez.
What is it, Kate Walker?
This place, it's a cemetery, Oscar. I think Dana's... Oh my God, she must have...
Don't jump to hasty conclusions.
A cemetery? Oh my God. Impossible to get through. I'll have to find a way to go around it. Illegible. Section B. A dead end. I'll have to go back. Section F. Ah, it's not here. I need directions. impossible to read. Section P. A dead end. I'll have to go back. Anna Rose, 1938. Gone to a better place. Oh no. What happened?
Dana's health had deteriorated at the sanatorium. Her coughing fits, the pregnancy, and all the stress about Leon being on the run out there in Baltayar. It was just too much for her to bear. The doctors had to put her to sleep before her delivery. There were complications, and when she woke up, her parents told her the terrible news. They had already buried the baby girl.
How come the Brown Shadow didn't go after Dana? They controlled Ostertal back then, right?
Oh, they would have eventually, believe me.
And afterwards?
Dana became sterile because of the complications during childbirth, so she remained at the sanatorium a few months more. She was devastated, poor darling.
That's how she survived the pogroms.
Yes, but that didn't mean she was safe.
So what happened afterwards?
Dana lost everything. Her parents, her baby, Leon. I think she would have just given up if I hadn't been there that day. But I had to go to London. Back then, I used to get invited every year or so to all kinds of artistic events. I could then make out my report to the British Secret Service without arousing the Brown Shadow's suspicion. So I took Dana with me to save her from them. Dana stayed in London for about 6 years. I found her a flat and a position with my real employer, the Foreign Office. She had no family, no friends, and in a way she had no life. She spent every minute she had in the office fighting in her own way against those who took everything from her. She went from one promotion to another, and soon she was among those in charge of coordinating all the resistance fighter groups pertaining to the different occupied countries of Europe.
All right, Dana. Focus. The Admiralty needs us to spot the enemy units on the map according to the reports they provided. Looks like I made a mistake on the map. That's it, I guess. Yunta!
Dana, darling, you can use my real name here, you know.
Sorry, but I just can't get used to it. For me, you'll always be Ginger Yunta.
Charming. I'm sure I have Lenny to thank for that, hmm? You were always too soft on that little brat.
Maybe. I guess. Anyway, what are you doing here? So glad to see you.
Only doing my duty, Dana, darling. A gallery invited me for a conference, so I jumped at the occasion to report back to our superiors. But it might be the last time for a while, I'm afraid. It's getting very hard to leave the occupied territories, even for a famous so-called pro-brown shadow artist like me. Anyway, how have you been since my last visit?
Well, with Leon being missing and probably lying dead somewhere in Baltear for the past 7 years, and what happened to my parents, you know how I feel. But it's all beginning to feel like a dream, Yunta. A distant dream. Especially her. And I don't want it to, you know, I don't want her, my sweet Anna, to just fade away. I'm sorry, Yunta, but could we please change the subject?
Of course, darling.
What is it?
More work for you, actually.
Oh?
Yes. The Allies need someone for an operation with the Resistance in occupied territory, and they think it should be you. But truth be told, Dana, I'm not sure that's such a good idea.
Why not? I did volunteer for field operations. They've trained me a lot for that.
I know, Dana, but this operation will happen in Ostertal, right next to Wagen, actually.
I see.
Look, you don't need to answer me this minute. And no one would blame you if you declined the mission. We all know you don't only have happy memories of Wagen. You still have time to think it over. But before you give your final answer, they need you to identify the resistance group that will execute the operation. It's all explained here. And of course it's all top secret stuff. So you must cross-reference the documents right here in this room. You'll have to use that thing over there.
But I don't know how to use it.
I'm sure that's easy for you. You have such a clever mind, my little virtuoso. I'll see you later.
Well, let's get cracking then. I guess I must apply the right setting for the pressure to remove that safety device. must be for mixing the correct proportions of rarefied air in the system with the compressed air. Compressed air. I think I need to get the mixture right, paying close attention to the rarefied air. From what I can understand of that thing, the pressure must be high in the left tube, but low in the right one. Come on, Dana. It can't be that hard. You need to ask for a file about resistance networks in Ostertal. Right. Let's see. Can't be that underground network. Edelweiss? A coincidence. It must be a coincidence. The network leader's alias.
Oh, come here now, my pretty Edelweiss.
Don't call me that, you know I don't like it.
It's true, though. That's exactly what you are, my pretty Edelweiss.
If you keep that up, Leon Kobatis, I'll find you a nickname too.
Go on then.
All right. Your nickname will be Alpine Lover from now on. Leon! He's alive. He's alive. He's alive! I need to... Oh, good grief. But how did he... Yunta! Yunta!
So Leon made it from Baltayar. But how?
I have no idea, miss. All I know is that he survived for almost a year in the mountains before coming back to Ostertal. to set up the Edelweiss resistance group.
Which made Dana accept the mission you told her about back then, right?
Of course, she was given extra training and was dropped near Wagen the following summer to carry it out. We'd better get going. It looks like the storm is coming. What the heck?
What is it, Kate Walker?
The gates, they just closed. Oh, there must be a mechanism to open them somewhere.
There always is, Kate Walker.
I recognize some of the names here. Pretty interesting. But I should get back to what I was doing. It needs a key. But it doesn't look that strong, though. The Undertakers must store their tools in it. Can you bring that pickaxe closer, Oscar?
Of course, Kate Walker.
Looks like it's compatible with a bigger mechanism.
Are you all right, Miss Walker? Let's take the tram back to the guest house, Miss Walker.
What about that mission Dana led with Leon's resistance network?
It didn't turn out well, Miss Walker. Actually, that's the reason I left London to be here.
Oh?
Yes, just a second, Miss Walker. Where did I put it? What with this blasted storm? It's all over the papers. Here, have a look for yourself.
Storm. Excavation work at Devil's Pass has been interrupted. An unexpected storm has obliged the Council to remove the bodies trapped in the ice since the Second World War and to move them to the Silberspiegel Refuge. Those frozen bodies near the refuge. I heard about them just yesterday. Do you mean
There has been no formal identification yet, Miss Walker.
But it's plausible that...
That Leon, at least, is among those bodies, yes.
What happened to Leon?
According to the testimonies I've obtained, Leon was killed on that mission. The Foreign Office tasked Dana to lead an avalanche, apparently. I am one of the few people still alive to be able to identify him, which is why I'm here. If it weren't for this bloody storm, it would have been done today.
Do you think Dana could be among the bodies?
I suppose it would be logical. It would explain why I never saw or heard of her again after the mission. Yet, according to some witnesses, Dana survived the war and indeed helped resistance fighters from Wagen until the liberation. But if those testimonies were true, then Dana vanished after the war.
What about the other bodies?
According to the medical examiner's office, in all, 3 bodies have been extracted from the ice. The one presumed to be Leon, and 2 others, a man and a woman not yet identified.
I see.
Try to stay positive, Miss Walker. Only a visual identification will allow us to be certain. We can go as soon as this storm's over, probably tomorrow or the day after.
Right.
Miss Walker, we've arrived. But you're not coming, are you? Well, Miss Walker, you might not be related to Dana, but you bloody well certainly remind me of her.
Instead of waiting for the storm to pass and for the official identification of the bodies, I might add, that were trapped in the ice for 6 decades, you, and by extension me, are going to climb up the mountain so you can identify them yourself.
I know, Oscar, I know. But I've just got to be sure. Because if one of those bodies turns out to be Dana, I...
We'll have no more trains to chase?
Looks like it's holding up, despite the storm. I don't think it's cold enough for fuel to freeze, but maybe someone should store it inside, just in case. No one here? It's not that late. I'd have thought Demoiselle Lenny would still be up.
I believe that old people retire early, don't they?
I was hoping to find Demoiselle Lenny here. Demoiselle Lenny had tea with someone. Maybe with that alpinist guy. Photo of Leon on a ship. Must have been taken during his return from Baltayar. But I still can't figure out how he survived the winter while he was on the run over there. Lenny also had that newspaper clipping about Leon. Looks like the old girls built a veritable shrine to him. Another one of those cigars. There's something truly odd going on with Demoiselle Lenny. I really ought to have a little chat with her. But before, the bodies. They're all that count right now. Lenny's left her lookout post. Hardly surprising with this blizzard. What's this?
Oh, it's the frozen bodies from the Devil's Pass. The forensic team had to bring them up here because of the blizzard. But their generator shut off. I'm concerned it could damage the bodies.
Where's Demoiselle Lenny?
Oh, in her room, resting. She collapsed right after the forensic team left for Wagen.
Jeez, what happened?
I'm pretty sure it has to do with the bodies. I mean, she was staring down in that direction for, well, all the time. And then, when they brought them up from the Devil's Pass, it was like she had seen a ghost or something. It was almost as if...
As if she knew the departed.
What?
Is someone taking care of her?
Oh yes, don't worry. She's with that hermit who brings her wood and provisions sometimes.
Okay, in that case, you go back inside. I'll take care of the generator.
Are you sure?
Positive, just go. Go on! I need to check something in the tent anyway. The gas tank's empty. I better find some fuel so I can turn on the generator.
Didn't you come across a jerry can earlier? Better go check it out.
Yes! Thanks, Oscar! The gas tank's empty. I better find some fuel so I can turn on the generator. impossible. There must be something missing here. Nothing. Speak to me, Oscar!
This button must have turned on the generator, Kate Walker. But you still need to use the starter.
Okay! Thanks, Oscar! The gas tank's empty. I better find some fuel so I can turn on the generator.
Dry biscuits. Wonder how long they've been there.
Must be to crank up the generator. Something. Forensics Institute of Vaughan. That's not Dana in this body bag. An unidentified blonde woman in her 40s. That can't be Dana. That's it, Oscar. Dana's body is not among those found with Leon's. What a relief.
Now that that's cleared up, Kate Walker, maybe we should take shelter within somewhat more solid premises.
Right. We should go and check on Demoiselle Lenny in the refuge. I have a lot of new questions for her. Looks like the rescuers left in a hurry after they moved the bodies here. Must have been surprised by the blizzard.
Well done with the generator.
Hello? Sir?
Are you sure you want to follow that individual, Kate Walker?
I don't think he looked threatening. Rather the opposite, Oscar. She's asleep. I'd better go and talk to that guy in the other room. Sir? Are you there? What have we got here? This portrait, it looks like Leon. The style reminds me of that other portrait of him that he described in his letter from Baltayar. The one made by the...
Derna.
The Go-Rune.
No, not Derna. She's old, like me.
I'm Kate. Kate Walker.
Kate Walker.
Yes. And you're the one that Leon saved during the Origin expedition a long time ago, aren't you?
Yes.
The Goran from Baltayar. Well, you've come a long way, Mr.
Ludwig. Ludwig Hardtack.
Well, Mr. Ludwig, if you don't mind my asking, what happened when you and Leon returned to Ostertal to join the resistance fighters? And how did you meet Dana?
Leon. My brother.
These drawings, they're moments from your life, aren't they? looks like a river, and that little figure looks wounded. Is that you when you met Leon and the scientist from the Origin expedition?
Yes.
That person in the middle of the others was in the other paintings. That's Leon, isn't it?
Yes. Leon.
That group. Is it your tribe, Mr. Ludwig?
Yeah.
So you all live together in a cave in Baltayar? Right. So you and your tribe took Leon in after the death of Reinhard Berger in 1937. That's how he was able to survive the winter in the mountains. Then you went with Leon when he decided to return to Vagen to join the resistance fighters?
Mm-hmm.
These combat scenes, are they of the liberation of Vagen?
Before. During resistance.
Had Dana already joined the resistance operation by that time? I mean, by the time shown in the drawing.
No. Later.
The blonde girl with you and Leon can't be Lenny, right?
Yes. Lenny. My sister.
I knew Lenny was a resistance fighter, but she never told me she fought alongside Leon, let alone you. She even went as far as saying that she never saw Leon again after 1937, when they all met at the refuge with Dana. Why would she hide something so important?
Time to check on Lenny. Come, Kate Walker.
The sketchbook. I think it was Leon's. Detonating wire, just like in the old movies. Weapons. Must have been here since the war, I guess. This symbol looks like a warning. Some kind of map. Looks like the Devil Pass to me. Could all those marks indicate where the Goran searched for Leon's body? These must be plans for secret operations. Must have been some kind of a headquarters here. Maybe for local resistance fighters such as Leon and his group.
Ah, Fräulein. I knew you would be back eventually. Judging by your face, you and Ludwig already met.
We have. And it raised a lot of questions about you. About what you said to me the first time we met, and about what you didn't say.
Of course. You can run from your past, but never truly escape it. But you already know that. Don't you, Fräulein?
I want to understand Demoiselle Lenny. I'd like to understand why you didn't tell me about Leon's death, about fighting with him in the Resistance, and about the Gore, and about Mr. Ludwig. It would have saved us both so much time and effort.
Because it would have only begged questions. Questions which lead to events that I've never spoken about to anyone. Not even to you, dear Ludwig.
Lenny.
Still, I suppose it doesn't matter now. Perhaps it's time I confess my crime.
What are you talking about?
It was the best years of my life. Joining the Resistance, unlike my coward of a father, and fighting alongside Leon after he miraculously got back from Baltayar with Ludwig. It gave me purpose. Leon was a terrific leader. I could feel he was finally taking me seriously, especially with Dana being missing. I knew he was still in love. After all, didn't he cross the globe to rescue her? But we all thought he arrived too late, that Dana had died with her parents during the pogroms. So I believed his mourning would eventually come to an end. And that's when Dana fell from the sky, literally.
Dana was sent by London, right? To oversee that operation led by your resistance network? The exfiltration of a civilian to Switzerland, if I recall correctly.
Indeed. But Leon never told us that Dana was involved. Maybe he was afraid to believe it himself.
should have seen them, Fräulein. It was as if they had never left each other.
Do you know if Dana ever mentioned a child?
Maybe they were planning to have one in Baltaya, who knows?
In Baltayar?
Yes, that's all they ever talked about. How they were going to live over there after the war, along with Ludwig and his tribe. But it was to be just another broken dream.
Right. I should call London now. My radio's downstairs. Leon's drawing book. I recognize the mountains of Vagen in these drawings. Leon must have drawn them during his expeditions in the region. Herr Gustav housed me here when I worked at the refuge. I have so many fond memories with Leon here. When I left for London with Junta, I never thought I'd see the place again, let alone be here again with Leon. Right. I should call London now. My radio's downstairs. Judging by these installations, Leon's network seems particularly well organized. Pity the same can't be said for all the resistance networks the Foreign Office deals with. May I? Lenny and the Gorun seem close. It's nice that she's found a friend. Not that Herr Gustav lacked affection for her, but she spent too much time alone in that refuge. The Gorun described Leon as his brother. They must have shared lots of adventures together since Leon saved him from the clutches of Herberger. True brothers and sisters in arms. You can sense that the three of them stand together as one. Your drawings are beautiful.
For you, Dana Rose.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Ludwig. It's almost as if you were there with us that night.
Leon told me.
Did he speak about me?
All the time.
I should go now. Talk to you later, Mr. Ludwig.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it looks like Leon and me in this drawing. The Gorun must have drawn it from Leon's accounts of us. If this propaganda against the resistance fighters is anything to go by, the Brown Shadow must be pretty desperate. We'll need to cross Devil's Pass with the package in order to reach Switzerland. They say it's not the most daunting pass, but still, you need to be escorted by a professional alpinist. The refuge. The place where it all began between me and Leon. Looks like the Goron must be a nightmare for the Brown Shadow. He must be the super resistant I heard so much about in London. An arms stash. Since the departure of Herr Gustav, resistance fighters have been using this place as an outpost. The Allies are unable to send enough supplies to the resistance fighters for them to completely let go of their good old-fashioned methods. Shouldn't think the Brown Shadow appreciate Leon and his group throwing their own grenades at them. This part of the radio is used to transmit messages. I need my documents so I can find the right setting. They're in a side pocket of my bag. Empty. Maybe Herr Gustav's homemade radio is still around here somewhere. Maybe Herr Gustav's homemade radio is still around here somewhere.
Have you called London yet?
Lenny!
What do you want?
It's amazing how you've grown. How have you been since last time?
Fine, I guess.
I found out that the refuge was closed down by the Brown Shadow a few years ago. Turns out your network did the best of it. But what about Herr Gustav? Is he...
Dead? No, he's not dead. Although, for me, he might just as well be.
It's quite incredible when I think of you and Leon fighting alongside someone who comes from so far away.
Yeah. After Leon saved him during the expedition in Baltayar, Mr. Ludwig's tribe took him in during the winter months. They became inseparable, like brothers. So much so that Mr. Ludwig insisted on coming back here with Leon. Now he's our most ferocious fighter, the terror of the Brown Shadow.
See you later, Lenny. Is everything all right, Herr Exner? You seem a little upset. If it's about your exfiltration tomorrow, I can assure you there's nothing to be worried about. Leon is the best for...
I couldn't care less about tomorrow.
So what is it then?
It's my wife, Andrea. It's like I said to your goons there. I can't leave without her.
Your wife? I'm sorry, Herr Exner, but we have no orders regarding...
I don't care about your orders. I'm not leaving without Andrea. Do you hear me? I won't. You think I'm a bastard, don't you? A selfish bastard ready to risk people's lives to recover the woman he loves. That's what you all think, isn't it?
I'm afraid I don't know you well enough to have an opinion of you. Besides, I'm only here to accomplish my mission, not to judge anyone.
I take full responsibility for my actions, and I expect no pity in return. But would a little understanding be too much to ask? I mean, what would you do in my shoes? What would you do if they asked you to abandon that alpinist you seem to be so fond of for the common good, eh? Because that's what you're asking me to do with Andrea.
Well, to be perfectly honest, I suppose if I were in your shoes, I would pull out all the stops to protect those who are dear to me.
I see. Thank you, Fraulein.
Well, everyone seems all right, more or less. I should get back to the radio now.
Judging by these installations, Leon's network seems particularly well. Personal effects in a heap. Can't be a good sign. Leon's men must have settled down in the dormitories. Yunta's stash. I doubt I'll find anything of use there to amplify the radio signal. This is the transmitter Herr Gustav told me he'd cobbled together to compensate for the wave disturbance caused by the mountains. Should be able to use it for my own radio to contact London. Once this antenna is connected, there must be a way to open it. Herr Gustav's old radio. I remember we spent many an evening listening to serials when I worked here that summer. So Yunta never did come back to retrieve it? Not surprising, really, I suppose, given the fact that World War broke out. It doesn't fit. Looks like there's something wrong with the antenna. Once this antenna is connected, there must be a way to open it. There must be something else I can plug into it. There must be something else I can plug into it. Once this antenna is connected,
That should boost the signal.
perfect. The signal is strong enough to reach London now. I need to adjust the frequency settings properly to contact London. London, come in. London? Do you read me? Over. We've made contact. Package safe and sound. I repeat, we've made contact. Package...
Out of the question! I'm not moving from here without her!
London, please wait a moment. Over. What's going on?
You! Tell London I'm not leaving without my wife.
Herr X, now listen,
No, you listen. Andrea is my closest collaborator. With regard to the Allied war effort, she is just as important as me. She is in Wagen as I speak, hiding at some friend's place under a false identity. You must bring her here and smuggle her into Switzerland with me.
There's no way we're going back to Wagen. Brown Shadow troops have overrun the entire town. We can't risk delaying our departure.
A storm coming. Danger.
I'm not moving from here without her.
London, did you hear that? Roger that. Over and out. They say we can't allow Frau Exner to be captured and risk her letting the cat out of the bag.
What are you waiting for then? Send someone to fetch her.
Hang on. You're not asking me to.
Sorry, Lenny, we haven't got a choice. Ludwig can't go about in public in Wagen, and I have to prepare everything to get them through Devil's Pass tomorrow. You're the only one I trust enough to...
Why can't she go?
I understand you're angry, Lenny, but that's not in my orders. My mission consists of protecting Herr Exner at all cost. I can't just leave him here and go off to Wagen.
Dana's right, Lenny. And besides, it's too dangerous.
Leon!
All right, then. I'll go.
Lenny, wait!
Leon's reaction and his unconditional love for Dana drove me mad with rage. So I decided to take my revenge by making a detour. It was a detour I would regret for the rest of my life.
What did you do?
I made a deal with the devil. No one was supposed to have gotten hurt, I promise. I promise, Fräulein. I just didn't want Leon to leave me forever. To leave with her. But it was a fool's bargain, as I should have known from the beginning.
Becomes impassable!
Go through the pass in this weather, are you mad?
We have no choice, Lenny! It's that or fall into the hands of the Brown Shadow! And we both know what that means! We ought to stay, to buy Leon as much time as we can!
Leon,
She's right, Lenny! Now go! Go! Come! Dinah!
No! Don't make this harder than it is!
Dinah!
I love you, Leon.
I love you too, Dana, more than anything in the world. Come on, let's go!
Ironic, isn't it? But the worst was yet to come. how long we fought. Enough for Leon to lead the civilians to the foot of Devil's Path. Ludwig has been searching for Leon's remains since then. But it took the thaw due to global warming to uncover the bodies. And with them, my crime. Precisely when you decided to show up, Fräulein.
Lenny.
Dear Ludwig, can you ever
Mr. Ludwig, please!
Don't, Fräulein. I deserve this. Let's get this over with, Fräulein. Let me tell you about the last time I ever saw Dana, and then I'll be done.
Okay, I'm listening.
It was a year after Leon died, just after the liberation of Wagen.
The little Vagaran scourge. Still clinging on like fleas on a rat, I see. Oh, I was so disappointed I didn't bump into you when we sacked your parents' house. Before we threw them in the Dombra River.
I just wanted you to know I'll be thinking of you when you swing from a rope.
Run, Rabbit! Run! 'Cause we'll soon be back to finish off scum like you!
Since the liberation, everyone in Vagan seems to be looking for someone.
Goodness me, it's you, Dana.
Herr Gustav?
Wish it was still a music academy, eh? I'm at HQ now, you know.
Yes.
I just visited Lenny.
That's why I've come too. I wanted to see her before I leave. How is she?
Surviving, I suppose. The Allies are taking care of her here in the infirmary. Thank goodness. Special treatment for her exploits in the Resistance. But it's unlikely she'll ever walk again now.
I'm so sorry for what happened to her. I let Leon die alone, and I couldn't even help Lenny when she got hit during the assault on the refuge.
I understand you, my lovely. I do. But don't blame yourself, eh? Regrets, we all have a few. And some more than others. Especially in times of war, Dana. It's the way of the world. We just have to move on best we can. Maybe if we could all just let the water flow under the bridge, the swans will come back and we'll all be able to live together again. Like we used to.
Would be good, if it's at all possible. And Lenny?
I promise to take good care of her. For the rest of my life. I lost my little girl once. I'm not losing her again. I'll take up my job at the refuge. And I'll adapt it to her handicap. See?
That's nice.
Is everything okay, Dana?
I should go, Herr Gustav. You have a good day. Herr Sauer?
Oh, Fräulein Dana.
What are you doing here?
Well, unlike my former colleagues of the Origin expedition, I refused to be hired by the Allies. So, by the same chalk, I turned down immunity.
Why would you do that?
Well, all I've ever wanted to do in life is to carry out my anthropological research. But if there's one thing I learned in Baltayar, it's that it can't be done by serving the designs of this or that superpower, not even momentarily. I've had enough of prostituting science. So, I've given myself up to be judged for accepting to be financed by the Brown Shadow.
I see.
I'm sorry about Leon, Fräulein Dana. I know you were close. He, used to talk about you all the time. I'm sorry. I was rather harsh toward him last time we met. He was a good man. I miss him. His integrity.
I miss him too. Farewell, Hazawa. I hope a better life awaits you.
Farewell, Fräulein Dana.
That's it. I'm definitely done with everybody here. I should go and talk to Lenny in the infirmary now.
Hello, Lenny. I have to leave, Lenny. Every new day in Wagen is like another agony for me since Leon died. I can't face being here anymore. Not now that the town is freed. So, I've decided to leave for America. I'm going to try to start life over. I don't know if I'll do any better in the United States, but I'll have more of a chance of getting by there than here. I'm not abandoning you, Lenny. Ludwig's staying to help you find Leon's body in the mountain. And I'll write to you, often. I won't forget you. I'm so sorry.
So Dana, she never knew what you did?
Indeed.
So did she write to you like she promised? From the United States?
Yes, she did. For the next 40 years.
She's still alive then?
Can't say for sure, but there's a good chance.
Can you explain?
No. I've had enough of explaining. Explaining to myself. All I want now is to find some peace, far away from guilt and loneliness. I'm going to rest now.
It's not too late to forgive yourself.
Wouldn't know how, even if I wanted to.
You won't know until you try.
Thank you, Fräulein. You'll find the last letter I received from Dana in my automaton. It will give you the answers you're looking for.
Thank you.
Demoiselle Lenny is resting upstairs.
They must have carried Demoiselle Lenny to her room after she collapsed. They must have carried Demoiselle Lenny to her room after she collapsed. Oh, it won't fit. I must display the key properly. Thing's stuck. No. You should be able to control this body now, Oscar. Let's work together to unlock it and find that letter from Dana. Oh, it won't fit. I must display the key properly. No, it's not the proper setting of the key. The letter. Spring 1983. Dana sent this letter 20 years ago to Lenny. Dana Goengrish, Manhattan. Her name changed. May 21st, 1983. My dear Lenny, sorry if I haven't written in a long time.
It was a nurse who worked at the maternity ward at Baden Sanatorium before the war, when I spent some time there. She had stumbled upon a letter written by her superior. It was a strange confession written by the chief doctor who was present when I went into labor. She claimed that the child I gave birth to on April 5th, 1938 was alive, that they had seized the opportunity of me falling into a coma to give my daughter Anna to a couple of friends of my parents, the Zimmers. Anna is alive, Lenny. You can imagine, my dear Lenny, that I spent the following weeks searching for my daughter high and low. It wasn't that difficult, even though my daughter's names had been changed. For a while, I just stood there, watching a woman who seemed to be the center of attention. She looked so confident, joyful, and full of life. She was surrounded by charming friends and a couple of old folks who must have been the Zimmers, her adoptive parents. As I was watching my daughter, it appeared clear to me. I was an intruder in the life of Sarah Walker Zimmer.
Mom?
This young woman didn't look like me and inspired nothing in me either. No emotion, no desire to run to her and take her in my arms. Absolutely nothing. It felt meaningless. I just did what I thought best in such cases. I took a trip into her assumed past, just to make sure there were no regrets. I was just about to leave when I heard piano music coming from upstairs. It stopped me in my tracks. Six little notes, pure, crystalline, that crushed my heart with an incredible violence. I climbed the stairs like an automaton, guided by the music of the hymn of Wagen. The music I was so proud to play on the main square of Wagen. I never played it again after that. In a child's bedroom, I saw a little girl learning to play the piano. didn't seem at all surprised to see me there. She must have thought I was just another guest who had lost their way to the bathroom. We hardly spoke. I just showed her how to play. Hands must glide over the keyboard like swans over water. That's what our teachers at Bargain Academy used to say. I hurried out of the house without looking back, and a few days later, I left the United States for the only destination that had any meaning to me. Farewell, my dear Lenny.
Dana.
Well, I will never understand human emotions. I thought you would be happy to have the proof at last that Dana Rose is your ancestor.
I'd totally forgotten that strange old lady who helped me play my piece on Mom's birthday. She was my grandma.
So, what are we going to do now?
I don't know, Oscar. I really don't know. I know I should feel happy to come to the end of this adventure. I found freedom. I kept my promise to Katyusha. And discovered a fascinating part of my mother's past, kept secret until now. But it makes no difference to the guilt I feel over my mom's passing, or the void I feel since her death. Maybe if I had met Dana in person, but that's impossible now. The last trace of Dana I have is this letter, and it's over 20 years old. And besides, Dana implies she left for an unknown destination, like a hiding place, to wait for the end of a life that no longer held any meaning for her. She could be anywhere. That's if she's still alive at all. It would be like looking for a needle in a haystack. So, I don't know, Oscar. I really don't know anymore. There's only one thing left to do, Oscar. What everyone has been expecting me to do since I jumped on the train with Hans. Just be reasonable and return to New York. There's an end to everything, Oscar. Isn't there? This ticket will take me to the international airport of Vagen, and from there, back to my carriage number. I should find a phone to call Olivia before I take the shuttle. Given all the trouble waiting for me in New York, I'm gonna need all the help I can get. That's my shuttle. Once it's taken me to the airport, I'll just use the ticket for New York that Olivia sent me, and that'll be the end of my voyage. This is the right carriage, but the door's still shut.
Please present your ticket.
Looks like this mechanism is connected directly to the door.
Sorry, your ticket is not stamped.
Ticket validator. I'll need some ink before I can stamp it. I'll need some ink before I can stamp it. I should use the time remaining before the shuttle leaves to call Olivia and tell her I'm coming home.
Hello?
Olivia? It's me.
What do you want, Kate? Didn't we say everything last time?
You were right, Olivia. I've been chasing moonbeams ever since my mom died. But I found my grandmother.
Your grandmother? But Kate, she died years ago in New York.
No, I mean my real grandmother. Never mind. It's a long story. I'll explain everything when I get back.
Oh, you mean...
Yes, I'm flying back to New York.
That's wonderful, Kate. I better tell Mr. Canton. He's still on your case, you know. The police will probably be waiting for you at the airport, but don't worry. Dan has connections. I'm sure he'll be able to help. Maybe he can persuade Marston and Lorman to drop the charges.
Okay, thanks. That would be a relief.
The shuttle is all set for International Airport.
I gotta go. The airport shuttle's about to leave.
Yes, go ahead. We'll meet you at JFK. I'm proud of you, Kate. You've made the right decision.
Olivia?
Yes?
Listen, I'm truly sorry for everything that's happened since I left New York. It's just that I just had to get away. I needed a change of life, to be free. It was like a calling. And now that I've been following that calling for the past few years, I realize that I'm not the person I thought I was back in New York. I am that strange person who jumps from train to train, a traveler without a destination, just like that old shaman once called me.
What are you talking about? Which shaman?
It doesn't matter now. I guess what really counts is that I have no regrets about being my true self over these past years.
But do you really?
I know, Olivia. I know I've hurt people while going through this journey. My mom, Dan, you. I know that. And I'm so sorry, Olivia, for all the hurt I've caused you personally.
Thank you, Kate. It does me good to hear it. And, well, you know what? I'm starting to like this new Kate.
Listen, I'd better go now, Olivia. I'll call you if I can from the airport once I've got a flight.
Yes, you'd better get going. You take care, Kate.
Okay, you too. Bye now. Talk later. Olivia sent me a plane ticket for New York. What if... No, forget it.
So, is this really?
This ticket will take me to the international airport, my carriage number.
You look sad, Kate Walker.
That's all they ever talked about. How they were going to live over there after the war, along with Ludwig and his tribe.
I left the United States for the only destination that had any meaning for me. Farewell, my dear Lenny.
The only destination that had any meaning.
Kate Walker? Is everything all...
I know where she is, Oscar. I know where Dana went after she left America.
The train for the airport is about to depart. All passengers,
Come on, Oscar, we gotta go.
take your seat. Anyone not going to the airport is kindly asked to leave the train immediately.
Mr. Ludwig, what are you doing here?
Going home.
What about Demoiselle Lenny?
Lenny's gone. In her sleep. Too much guilt. Too much sorrow.
Oh.
I took her in the mountain with Leon. They're together now. What about you, Kate Walker?
I'm going back home too. In a way.